Hey, it's another week, another recipe, and this week we're making some 1920s glue in the form of peanut butter bread, which I'm pretty sure was used to bolster the barracks in World War I. Come check it out.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my kitchen. My name's Courtney Morris and I cook history's forgotten recipes out of random cookbooks I find. If you're new here, thank you for joining me, and if you're coming back for more, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. So today we are going into 1940s again. But I found a recipe that just kind of popped up that was a little interesting to me. And the title, before I even read it, was kind of like, you need a recipe for that? So the recipe is called peanut butter bread. And in my brain, I'm thinking you need a recipe for someone to actually tell me how to take toast and spread the peanut butter on the toast, and that's it. But of course, there's more to it. So in the 1940s, the Royal Baking Powder Company put out a couple pamphlets with recipes like a lot of brands did to kind of promote their products so people would start using them more. And I found this pamphlet for wartime recipes that included this peanut butter bread. But it's not something that I would have really thought ever went together. But in wartime, nothing went together, and you just put stuff together that wasn't supposed to go together and hope it turned out well. After this video, go watch my tomato soup cake for a prime example of things that should not go together, but somehow do. Okay, so this bread is more in line with a quick bread. It's more like a biscuit or a scone or that kind of recipe. There's no yeast. Our leavening agent is, of course, baking powder, because this is, remember, the Royal Baking Powder Company. And aside from the peanut butter being in the mixture, the other thing that made me wonder what this bread was all about was because there's no wheat in it. It's rye, barley, or oat flour. And I'm gonna try barley because I don't have rye, and I've done enough with oat flour to kind of know how it works, but I've never tasted or done barley flour. My barley usually just goes in barley beef soup, and it's superb, but it's always been whole. So I'm gonna grind up some barley into some flour, and we'll start with that. So I'm gonna be using my very historically inaccurate Vitamix to do this because I don't know where my hand crank flour grinder is. If you don't have one of these, splurge and get one. It says to mix all the dry ingredients and then add the milk. I wonder if this is going to be really coarse. I've made bread with like ground up sorghum and rice, and it tends to be, no matter how fine you grind your grain, it just gets a little grainy, if you will. Like it doesn't have that nice puffy flour consistency. I can talk. And 4 teaspoons of baking powder, a teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 cup of sugar, which is 4 tablespoons. All right, so to mix that together, and then I need to add my peanut butter. I'm just using my store-bought Winco processed peanut butter because that's what I had on hand. I'm pretty sure I probably should have used Adams, or at least gone and gotten the all-natural grind your own ones to be more historically accurate, but this was actually a partially new one. So do you see that flat part right there where nobody's touched? Does anybody else feel like they have to be the first one into the new part of a peanut butter? Because I do. It's just like my prerogative, and it's my right as a peanut butter owner to get there first. Somebody already got to most of it first, but that's okay. I feel like I'm going to be using my hands for this. We're just making coated peanut butter right now. You know what, I just realized there's no egg in this. Wonder what's going to hold it together. Maybe the peanut butter is supposed to hold it together. All right, so now I need a cup of milk, and I have ran out of actual gallon jug milk, and I am not going to the store today, so I'm just going to use instant milk, which was completely permissible in wartime because that was a thing. 1/3 cup dry milk to 7/8 cold water to make 1 cup. Okay, well apparently I don't have a 1/3 cup clean. I never have anything clean in my kitchen. I don't know. 5 tablespoons is 1/3 of a cup. And then 7/8 cup of water, which is like right here. If this tastes good and doesn't crumble and isn't absolutely just weird, this would be an awesome thing to put in the recipe book because I mean, that's just one more thing to do with barley. And with grocery prices the way they are right now, you know, a lot of people I know are focusing on, you know, kind of stocking up on some essentials and things that might fly off the shelves. Like when the pandemic started, flour, you could not get flour, you could not get yeast. And for people who bake, that was kind of sucky. And with everything that's going on right now, I've heard rumors about the wheat crop being not great this year or next year. You know, maybe we'll have to turn to some alternate grains, which I think would be great to find another recipe to actually use this for. Because I've got a lot of barley and we don't eat that much barley soup, but it does store well. So that actually mixed together super well. It smells like a peanut butter cookie. It is grainier than white flour. It almost looks like cookie dough too. It really does. Now it doesn't give any instructions for baking aside from I need a loaf pan and a medium oven. So I have a personal preference to put parchment paper in the bottom of it because it just doesn't stick and it's great and it comes out so nicely. So the fat in this recipe comes from the peanut butter, not necessarily oil or butter because you have naturally occurring peanut oil. So I'm a little hesitant to butter the sides because I don't think I need to. I think I'm gonna butter the sides just in case. I have a little leftover butter. I need to kind of use that anyways. So I kind of want to add chocolate chips to this. I mean, it's really giving me peanut butter cookie vibes here, but we are going to stick to the recipe, do as it commands. The thing also that made this interesting was at the end of the recipe, it said this is better one day after it's baked, which I'll try it after it's baked, but you know me, I'm going to have to just cut into it after it cools off, just to see what it's like. But the other thing, it says it's good with sandwiches. It makes a very good sandwich. I'm trying to think what kind of sandwich aside from putting jelly on it. Okay, there's my loaf. I'm gonna put it in a medium oven, which in modern terms is 350 degrees, and it says 30 to 35 minutes, so basically when a toothpick can come out clean. And I will see you back as soon as this is done, and I've got high hopes that this is gonna make my kitchen smell so good. All right, this has cooled off. It is very short. It smells amazing. My house smells like Christmas, like peanut butter cookies. So that answers that question of yes, it's grainy, and there's nothing holding it together. Now this recipe said that this makes awesome sandwiches. I don't know what you put on this to make a sandwich aside from jelly, but is my bread loaf pan just bigger than they used to be? Because I mean, unless you're cutting it this direction, that's not a sandwich. I wonder if my baking powder is any good. We're gonna have to test that, just a sec. Baking powder and baking soda are two different things. So baking powder, you test by using boiling water. So you use a half teaspoon of baking powder in a dish, and then you just pour a 1/4 cup of boiling water on top of it. If it foams, then it's good to go, and if not, then not. But yeah, that foams. There's bubbles. What the heck? We know baking powder is not the problem. The recipe's the problem, or my bread loaf tin is too big. I mean, it's kind of standard size. Did they make them smaller back then? So one thing I have learned with these big company recipe booklets, like I said before, sometimes they just publish recipes, whether they're good or not, just to have something published. So, but either way, I'm gonna give it a try. Oh, it cuts nice. It does cut nice. Oh, this falls apart. I'm gonna give this a no. Holy moly. It's like eating wet sand. Oh. The flavor is not bad. The flavor is actually pretty good. It's got peanut mixed with the barley nut flavor, but it's so weird. It's like, you know, if you put cornstarch in water and then you try to pick it up, like it condenses into a ball, and then when you let it go, it just goes, what? This is how I feel this is. Like, you pick it up and it just dies, but you put it in your mouth and mix it with water and you get glue. No, no, no. This is not good sandwich bread. This is going to my chickens. I mean, that's a thick loaf of bread. It looks like paving stone, honestly. It looks a little more like a paving stone. I wanted this to be good. I mean, don't get me wrong. It is edible with enough water, cup of tea, whatever, maybe one day later, like they said, it's best one day afterwards. I don't think so. I almost don't want to take another bite because it takes so long to chew. Even if I did get a finely milled barley flour, it would make it worse because even though it would hold together probably a little bit better, it would be even more gluey because everything was just like, I don't recommend this. I really don't. I don't recommend this, but you're in the wartime, you have nothing else to eat, and you can make barley bread with peanut butter in it. Don't. I'm joking. If you need to eat something, this is perfectly edible. You could probably slather it with jam and make sure you got a buttload of water. You're good to go. And this is gonna sit like a rock in your stomach and you will be full for days. Or you could, just throw it at the enemy. All right, well, if you made it this far, thanks for joining me. Now we know that this is not a recipe that anyone needs to try. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the little bell notification that lets you know that I upload every Monday with a new historical recipe. Can't promise they're gonna be good or bad any day of the week, because what you see is what you get. I don't pre-film any of this. This is all just me making stuff. I prefer it that way. It's more fun. If you liked the video, go ahead and hit the little thumbs up button, give it a like. I know it helps the algorithm show my videos to more people, and I would love to get to know more of you, love to get to know more of your stories. And as always, send me a recipe, send me a comment. I would love to try out any of your old family recipes, or even if there's some old recipes that you're too squeamish to try, I'll try them for you. If you want to watch another failed recipe video, click here for the fried Spam fritters. These ones it'll make this look amazing. All right, I will see you next week with a new historical recipe. Have a great week, everyone. Bye.